Hi everyone, welcome. I just finished my 2 weeks of break from social media, and to be honest, I didn't plan to start today, but it just happened. And I am excited to start this new journey with what I'm going to share today, 100 Days of Bliss, as I call it. But before I get into what 100 Days of Bliss is, let me just give you a backdrop story of what made it happen, like how I came out with this idea. So as you know that for last 2 weeks I've been out. I have not been on social media. I post publishing any podcast episodes, and that was just deliberate because there's a lot of things happening in my life, in my work, and there was too many things, and all of a sudden it just started to feel heavy. I felt the load of everything that kept on coming up, and new projects coming up, and I started to accept them. And in amidst all that, I lost what there was a sense of fulfillment or joy coming out of those activities. So a radical idea, as I listened to myself, I said, okay, I need to break, I need to let go. And it was scary for a minute to think that you could stop social media and not have the need and not have the any need to be on there, interact with people. And I did miss interacting, but I have to be honest, I enjoyed being with myself for those 2 weeks and things I did. If you listen to my episode at the start of the year where I talk about how one should have a morning routine that fills you up, I do have that routine, but I also have tried to stay flexible in the sense that sometimes when I cannot get up early enough, which has been for a while, then I just start with whatever is needed in the moment, and then I come back to my own self. Most of the days, it's like if you're late, you're going to get up, you need to get kids to the school, get them ready, and, that takes away. And when you get back, then you get time for yourself. And sometimes, there's not enough time for yourself in between there because, obviously work also there, right? And going back to this thing, I had an idea when one of the things that I do is meditation. I've been doing that for, I would say, a year now. And, if for those of you who do not sit and meditate, that's completely fine. We all have our own way to connecting to the source. For me, meditation, sitting down, just relax and listening is a way. So I do that. A few days ago, about 2 weeks ago, I started a challenge of 100 days of meditation without break because normally I've been flexible. Like when I cannot do it, I let go. I don't push and force, which also has its benefit. But there is also, there's an aspect of discipline, commitment to yourself, and doing the things that you commit that you will do. So obviously, I wasn't doing that. I was just letting it slide in the name of flexibility and letting it go. And, there are times when you have to let go and you have to be best judge of it. But for me, there was not, that essential or anything critical that was stopping. It was just timing issue, or creating the time was the issue. So anyways, I started doing that. And amidst that, challenge, I had this idea that why am I doing alone? Maybe I need to have people with me on this journey to experience what it feels like doing something for yourself for 100 days. So last night I thought that I will do that. This idea came last night, and I was thinking that I'll start, and I was still not thinking that I'll be doing it today. I'll be talking about today. In my mind, it was something that I was going to plan. I was going to come up, how you fill up yourself for 100 days and making sure you make yourself priority for the next 100 days and do something. The very first thing you do in the morning is something that you do for yourself, something that, uh, you know, makes you happy, that just puts you in state of being, centers you, uh, you know, it could be dance, it could be music, it could be reading book, it could be exercise, it could be meditation, yoga, whatever it is, walk. But you do start something with that intention that, you are giving yourself first. You're making yourself as a priority because, when you wake up every day, the world will try to shout and grab your attention. They need you. Everybody, your family, the world, everything needs your attention. And so often we just end up giving that attention to the world and others at the cost of ourselves. And what we want to change is, what I want to challenge you is, how about changing that and starting your day with yourself as the first person you work for, or the first person you attend, and that, I know, will change everything. And I know right now you're thinking, oh, I don't have time. If you're busy, you don't have time. Time is always created. It's not. It's a construct. Human beings created time. There was a time when there was no time. There was no watch, right? We are the people who created time, so you can always create time. And it's not about the time, it's about the commitment. It's about making yourself priority. The challenge is that you start your day with you being that priority. It could be minimum, it could be for 15 minutes, or it could be up to an hour, depending on what fits your schedule. But minimum, if you give yourself 15 minutes of priority right at the beginning of your day, I can guarantee you, 100 days later, your life will look totally different. You may be more healthy, you will be more attentive, you will be more present. If you're doing meditation, you will be more focused on your food intake, your exercise. It will just happen naturally. You don't even have to think and do it. It will happen, because that's what transformation looks like. When you commit to something for yourself and you do it for certain period, it just becomes part of you. And guess what? Confidence is just going to be a piece of cake. It's just going to build your confidence, your reputation, because everything you repeat in that day is going to become your reputation. And the most important reputation you have is with yourself. If you are able to keep the promises that you make with yourself, that would be the reputation you will have. Here's the thing that made me do it today instead of a week later, 2 weeks later. Here's the thing. Last night I was, before I was going to bed, I meditated, and then I just wrote down on a book, 100-day challenge. I didn't do anything else. I just wrote down 100 days challenge. I didn't think a lot about it, and I slept. And I slept late. I think I went to bed around 11 o'clock, and around 12 o'clock, my daughter walked into our bedroom and she said she couldn't sleep. So, I took her back to her room. I sat with her for half an hour. And when I felt like she slept, I came back. 15 minutes later, she came back again. So, it's now around 1 a.m. I tell her to sleep on my bed, and I go back to her room so that, we could sleep comfortably. Early in the morning, I heard this voice. And I'm really in a deep sleep. My eyes are closed. I'm sleeping. But something in my consciousness, I heard this voice. Hold my hand and come. And in my sleep, what I, felt like the voice was telling, get up, go, and make yourself priority. Sit down and meditate. Because if you don't get up now, you're going to end up getting late. And you're not going to do the meditation first. You're not going to make yourself priority. And, you know, you're not going to be on the challenge on the day one itself. And I wanted to negotiate, like something in me wanted to get up, but my body and my mind wanted to negotiate. And it's like, okay, 5 more minutes. Let me just sleep a little bit more. I slept late and whatever. So I had all these excuses running. And here's the thing. There was somebody in me that was observing that whole play. I think 5 or 10 minutes later, I just got up. I barely could open my eyes. I just walked into the other room where I normally meditate. So it was about 4:30 in the morning. I just sat down and meditated. And during the meditation, the next idea, same thing, 100 days challenge, it just came up. And I just felt like it has to be done now. There was like something was guiding me that it has to be done now. And so here we are and making this challenge. I could think of 100 different ways to do these things, but I think when something in you, call it universe, call it intuition, call it God, call it life force, life energy, whatever you want to call it, right? There is something in you that is telling you, guiding you to take a step. You have to just do it. You have to let it show you where it takes you. And this is me accepting to what is being shown to me. I don't know where this will land, but I know that if I continue doing this and people do that for themselves, if you commit to 100 days of your time, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, whatever it is, that means you'll have to get up that much earlier, to create that time if you do not have much time. But if you do that, I know 100 days later, your life will be different. In fact, you also know it. If you close your eyes and just think whatever you would like to do, whether it's music, dance, yoga, meditation, exercise, whatever it is, walking, reading book, whatever it is that you would spend 15 days at the start of your day to make yourself as a priority, close your eyes, and 100 days later, you'll be a different person. In fact, not only you'll be a different person, your circumstances will be different, right? You may end up having more money all of a sudden. You may have better relationships. You may have, you might get the house you were looking for. There are crazy, magical things that can happen when you start listening to your intuition and give yourself that time to do it. So I'm really excited that I'm going to do that. And I'm really hoping that you join me in this challenge. At the end of the 100 days, I would plan an event where everybody who participated could join online and celebrate together, share their experiences. That would be awesome. I would love to have some, guest speakers coming in, all kind of things. It's still in play. I am open to how it transpires. I'm open to having weekly meetings and connecting with people and doing that, but it's all in the play. It's too early. But the main thing is that you commit to it. And if you're committed, how about just sign up, show your commitment, and let's get this thing going. I'm going to end this episode with a awesome song, and I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. See you on the other side. All right. I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I did and got some valuable nuggets out of it. If you liked it, there are other shows you can watch. They're exactly what you need. And I ask you to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the show. Really, I want to hear from you firsthand, what you felt, what you liked, what you didn't like. So thank you, and see you around.